chubby girl Renee Bennett came to the gym. She is surrounded by slim beauties, which makes her feel even more complexes. In the locker room, she talked to a girl named Mallory, who said it was her first time at the gym. Renee was shocked by this statement, because Mallory has a perfect figure. At the gym, Renee didn't have time to start exercising before she was accidentally injured and walked away limping. At home, Renee tries to get her hair fashioned with video lessons from the internet, but the reality doesn't match her expectations at all. Later, Renee went to a clothing store, but her size wasn't available. In the evening, looking at her reflection in the mirror, Renee became even more upset. The extra weight prevented her from feeling confident and attractive. The girl is an employee of a large cosmetics company. However, she does not work in the head office, but in the online division, which is located in an inconspicuous basement. She has a colleague, Mason, with whom she shares her innovative ideas. Renee dreams that her talents will finally be noticed, but she lacks self-confidence. In the evening, Renee spends time with her two best friends, who are just as unsightly as she is. The girls decide to have a photo shoot and post their picture on a dating site. Renee is sure that no one will write to them, because all the guys prefer to date fashionable, slender beauties. The next day at work, Mason informs her that the server is down, so Renee has to carry the reporting to the office. The girl is very nervous about this, because working in this office is her dream. Renee overcame her uncertainty after all. After handing over the documents to the receptionist, Renee saw her idol, Avery Leclerc. Upon learning that a new receptionist was required here, Renee knew this was her chance. Meanwhile, Avery and her grandmother Lily Leclerc, the company's founder, were planning ads for the Diffusion line of cosmetics. Lily dreams of having her products available to every woman, not just rich ladies with model looks. Avery is mulling over an advertising strategy. In the evening, Renee reads more about the receptionist vacancy. It's the perfect job for her, but she sees no point in sending her resume there, because she has no chance anyway. One day in the store, Renee noticed Mallory, with whom some guy tried to get acquainted. However, the girl firmly refused to give him her phone number. Renee confides to Mallory that she too wants to feel the most irresistible and be the center of attention. She's sad that she'll never be in the shoes of all those model girls. At night, Renee watched television alone. At one point she couldn't stand it, went outside and asked the universe to make her beautiful. A miracle is the only thing Renee has to rely on. The next day she went to the gym and worked out with such zeal that at one point she fell off the sport machine and hit her head. She was brought to her senses in the locker room. At one point Renee realized that she now had the perfect figure, and she was shocked. When she looked in the mirror, she saw the most beautiful girl in the reflection. It turned out that the universe had granted her wish. Now Renee feels 100% confident, unaware that in fact her appearance has not changed. She took her resume to the head office without a second thought, ignoring the receptionist's bewilderment. In the evening, Renee met her friends in the bar, and certain that they did not recognize her, tried to explain that it was her. According to Renee, the miracle had happened tonight that had given her a flawless appearance. Neither Vivian nor Jane understood what Renee was talking about, for she had not changed. Renee promised the friends that no matter what, her attitude toward them would remain the same. The next day at the dry cleaners, she called Mason and told him that she would not come to work because she was supposedly sick. A cute guy named Ethan asked her for the number. He was referring to the ticket number, but Renee thought that Ethan meant her phone. Ignoring his attempts to explain herself, Renee gave the guy her number, promising that she would make time for him. When the friends opened their profile on the dating site, they saw that no one was interested in them. Renee thought the problem was that the photo showed her with her old appearance. But if guys saw her in the new look, proposals would rain down in hail. In the evening, Renee was invited to the interview. In the morning she went to the office. Avery and her assistant were surprised to see the girl with non-model parameters. However, Renee's charisma and self-confidence interested Avery, who was looking for an energetic, proactive employee unencumbered by stereotypes about beauty standards. Renee got the job and was over the moon. She went to her former place of work to personally inform Mason of her transfer to the main office. Mason was happy for the colleague, but couldn't say it to her face because he was in the restroom. Today is Renee's first day at work, and she is no longer shy about showing off her figure. Many clients were confused by the new receptionist's appearance. Soon she was spotted by Grant LeClaire, Avery's brother. He found the new employee funny, who feels as confident as all these model girls. Seeing the handsome Grant, Renee was speechless with admiration. They had a nice conversation. Later, Renee overheard Avery and her assistants discussing the diffusion line. She couldn't help but intervene, because Avery had chosen a very wrong strategy for advertising cosmetics that were positioned not as high-end, but as budget-friendly. Avery found her advice very helpful. In the evening, Renee decided to call Ethan, thinking he was too shy to make the first move. Ethan was confused by the girl's insistence and agreed to meet her. Renee confessed to him that recently her life had completely changed for the better. When she saw that a bikini contest was being held in the bar, she decided to participate by all means. Ethan tried to talk Renee out of it, since her competitors were girls with model parameters. Renee thought he was just jealous. The girls took turns on the stage, showing off their shapes. When Renee came on stage, the public abruptly stopped applauding. However, the girl was not embarrassed and soon won the audience's sympathy with her charisma. Completely unashamed, Renee danced. Ethan was amazed at her boldness and audacity. The audience gave her a standing ovation. Of course, Renee didn't win the contest, but that didn't upset her in the least. In Renee's opinion, such contests are usually fake. Ethan admired her self-confidence. More and more often, Avery asked Renee for advice. Her opinion was very important to Avery because she knew more about the potential clientele of their new diffusion line than anyone else. When Avery invited Renee to dinner, she gladly accepted. Renee began to see Ethan every day. They had a lot of fun and comfort in each other's company. Ethan liked the fact that next to Renee he could be himself. He confessed to the friend that he thought she was perfect. Many people are ashamed of themselves and obsessively look for flaws in themselves, forgetting their strengths. But Renee is not like that. She doesn't give a damn about what others think. Ethan kissed Renee, and in the evening they were going to have passion at her house. Renee felt relaxed, while Ethan was very nervous. When it was over, they just lay in bed and chatted. Soon the couple went to an upscale restaurant for dinner with the LeClaire family. They were taken to a private hall. Lily was delighted with Renee's ideas for the diffusion line and suggested that she fly with them to Boston to represent their new products. Later, Renee met with her friends at the restaurant. Vivian and Jane do not recognize their friend, who has become very arrogant. When the colleagues invited Renee to go to the private hall with them, she left her friends. Now her whole life is full of vivid impressions. Renee constantly gets acquainted with new people. She didn't notice how she herself began to judge the people around her by their appearance, thinking that she was superior to them. After work, Renee arrived at the bar where the group date was to take place. Despite her relationship with Ethan, Renee decided to support Vivian and Jane. The good-looking guys seemed very nice and well-read, and they were clearly interested in girls and more than just good looks. They demanded an explanation from Renee, who now flirts with everyone. Renee in turn considers her friends terribly boring and unworthy of boyfriend's attention. Soon Renee was on the business trip to Boston. She didn't expect Grant to fly either. Renee was very flattered by the attention of such a handsome man as Grant. In the luxury hotel, Renee was rehearsing a speech when suddenly Grant, who happened to be staying in the room next door, paid her a visit. Grant began to hint in every way that he liked her. He confessed that he was fed up with unencumbered by intellect models, who were only interested in money and prestige. And Renee was different. He wanted to kiss her, but Renee, seeing the message from Ethan, went into the shower, under a far-fetched pretext, where she tried to calm down. At some point she hit her head and woke up a minute later. Realizing she was running late, Renee hurried to meet Avery, but on the way she ran into Mason, who had also flown to Boston for work. Renee didn't understand why the colleague recognized her, since this was the first time he'd seen her in the new guise. Looking in the mirror, Renee was horrified to see her former appearance and cried. Her worst nightmare had come true, now she was herself again. Renee asked bewildered Mason to give Avery the outline of the presentation at which the new products would be presented. Renee returned home and fell into a deep depression. She ignored calls from Avery. One day Ethan called her by video link. Renee was afraid to show him her true face and lied that she wasn't feeling well. Ethan set her up with a date for Saturday. Renee drank a lot and ate junk food. One day she visited her ex-friends, but they were not happy to see her. Now Vivian and Jane spend time with their boyfriends. They told Renee that they loved her not for looks, but for her kindness and sincerity. But Renee ruined everything. She dared to go to the restaurant and meet Ethan, not knowing how to present her new appearance to him. Ethan thought she was playing a joke on him, but she was sure that he really didn't recognize her. She left the restaurant in frustration, and then called Ethan to tell him that it was all over between them. Renee was very depressed, for all her wildest dreams had come true, and then in an instant she lost everything. To recreate that magic, she returned to that very gym, but the miracle did not happen. In the locker room, Renee saw upset Mallory, who said that the boyfriend had dumped her. Renee couldn't believe it, because she had always thought that girls like Mallory never faced that. The girl confessed that she had a big problem with her self-esteem. After learning that Avery was looking for model-looking girls to promote the diffusion line, Renee was outraged. To advertise budget-friendly products, they need someone who looks like a future cosmetics customer. After leaving the friends a voicemail and apologizing for her behavior, Renee decided to make things right. With Mason's help, she uploaded a new presentation to the computer and walked out onto the stage. When Renee saw her pictures, she realized there was no miracle. Her appearance never changed, so everything Renee had achieved was solely to her merit. Renee presented the guests with the advertisement for their products that was truly credible. The audience erupted in great applause, and among the invited guests were Vivian and Jane, who forgave their friend. Avery thanked Renee for everything, but still advised her to see their staff psychologist in the office. Lily hugged the granddaughter and said she was proud of her. In the evening Renee came to Ethan to ask his forgiveness. He forgave his beloved, saying that he loved her as she was, with all her faults and virtues. Now Renee knows for sure that she can achieve everything on her own, and it doesn't matter that her appearance is far from the